Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Fiancée, a 27-year-old female, is threatening to call off the wedding if I don't let her parents move in with us after the wedding. And guys, this story is all about a guy who certainly has the last laugh, who certainly plays his cards right after his fiancée starts to pull the ultimatum BS. And like the title says, pretty much she wants her parents to come move in with them after they get married. You want to talk about a freaking nightmare having the in-laws come in and move in with you. You're going to see here that this young guy here, he unexpectedly inherits a ton of money after his grandfather dies. He's just your average Joe doing his thing. Grandpa dies, and I don't think he understands the extent of his grandfather's wealth. And of course, then he wants to do all these things with the money. And the girlfriend, now the fiance, obviously caught wind of all this and, have my parents come move in and they can obviously benefit from all this. He ain't having it. And at the end of the day, you're going to see, because this is a part 1 and part 2 story here, it blows up in her face. And I'm doing this one as an example for your relationship, guys. You can never give in to ultimatums. Never. Your girlfriend's giving you ultimatums about this or that, commit, move in, give me a ring. It's done. Because no relationship is going to last at ultimatums. And if a guy caves to ultimatums, you all know what happens. If she's thinking, whether she realizes it or not, if I can get him to cave on this, I can get him to cave on other things. And it's going to be a relationship of her running the show. And remember, women don't respect guys that are weak. So she won't love you. It'll just get worse and worse. And she'll eventually either cheat on you or dump you or both. So that'll be a good one to go over here. And also, I might add, how I always say you got to pay attention to a woman's family. And if there's red flags in the family, turmoil, fighting, or if they don't like you, that'll make a whole lot of sense to be in a relationship with a gal if the parents hate you. And you'll see more what I'm talking about in a second. So it starts off, it says here, obviously this comes off as a rich people problem, but up until 5 months ago, I was still living in a 1-bedroom apartment, working at a rather large supermarket retail store, making $12 an hour, and going to be paying off college debt until I was 60 years old. My fiancée is still working on her nursing job. There's a red flag. You all know why. And we've been fully living together for 4 years. So background information into our relationship. We met 6 years ago. There were literally 0 issues with us dating. And when it came to some sort of conflict, we sat down, explained both of our sides like adults, and generally fixed the problem. So it sounded like, obviously, in the beginning, things were good. Well, her true colors came out after 6 years. This goes to show you, yes, you need to spend years with somebody, but then again, things can change. Or their true colors will come out eventually. We rarely got into fights, and we have the same end goals in life as children: grow old together, die, be buried next to each other, and have fun whenever we can. I've always had an incredibly distant relationship with her parents. When she introduced me to them, they both stated they didn't like me to my face and thought I wasn't good enough. Well, that's real nice. Well, at that point then, that's when you cut ties, because you cannot be in a relationship with a gal that the family hates your guts. It's always going to be a problem. And unless she's willing to cut all ties with them completely, don't waste your time. But he's young, and just a lot of young guys don't realize these things. Her father said to me, not in my lifetime, when I asked for his permission to marry his daughter, which I stated the only reason I was doing so was for an olive branch. My parents, on the other hand, loved my fiancée, and they scooped her up like she was one of their own from the start. He never said anything bad about her in public, or they have never said anything bad about her in public, nor they have in private. She, at least in my parents' eyes, is the metaphorical second coming of Christ. Well, that's a problem too, actually, because nobody is that way. During my grandfather's decline in health, I was the first one there. He just got old, and with being old comes complications. I stopped working my higher paying job to work retail to have more time to take care of him because his other children were busy. So he was doing better than working at the local supermarket, but he quit that job to be close to Grandpa, have flexible hours to help his grandfather. That says a lot about this guy's character. This was a very stressful time in our relationship. I just recently left my job, was not around often, and I found myself I was super stressed out. Recently, I began the slow move of everything over there. While we still have to live in our apartment until the lease agreement is up, there's nothing against the rules of me moving stuff. I brought up to my girlfriend how taking care of my grandfather has really made me realize how important my family is, and that I wanted to know if it was okay for my parents to move in with us and then in the new house with us. So that's a problem. And that's one area that I can understand if the girlfriend's upset or annoyed. Look, that's great. He wants to take care of his parents, but unless it's his culture to have the parents move in, which I don't think it is, arrangements can be made. They live close, but not living with you when you get married and start a family. It's just not going to work. It's not fair to her, and I'm going to be honest there. But you'll see how this thing goes, where now she tries to pull bullshit with him. My dad could retire, and my mom can spend the rest of her life relaxing, not stressing over bills and debt, because I can pay that off over time. I'm not insane enough to pay it all in one go. She expressed how that was an amazing idea and how she'd like my parents to move in as well. Well, in this moment, she says it's okay, but you're going to find out the reasoning behind this. I laughed at the idea and asked her if she was serious and why would I want to live in a house with people I don't like, She expressed how it was an amazing idea and she'd like for her parents to move in as well. That's why she liked the idea. Now she can get her parents to mooch too. Maybe this is a culture where the families move in. I don't know. But this is a bad idea because her parents hate his guts. That's the dumbest thing ever. I laughed at the idea and asked if she was serious. And why would I want to live in a house of people I don't like nor want to interact with? She explained this could be a good chance for us to healing old wounds and making amends. Yeah, not happening. I explained that not only do I want to heal old wounds, but if it were up to me, they wouldn't be coming to the wedding. And you're marrying this girl with this bad relationship with her parents, this is never going to work. Obviously, this was the wrong thing to say, and now she's giving off the ultimatum of let them move in or the wedding is off. Never, ever cave to an ultimatum, ever. Your relationship will be a living hell, guaranteed, if that happens. She'll think, okay, he caved to this, what else can I get him to give into? And when a woman doesn't respect you, she won't love you, and that's when all the BS will really kick in, and cheating and all sorts of stuff, and eventually break up with you. While I do understand her side, I seriously do not want to interact with them in any capacity. They tried numerous times to get her back with exes, lie about me, even spread a rumor about me, being unfaithful until I pulled evidence of being nowhere near where they said I was thanks to Google location. My fiancé knows all this and still wants to try and rebuild a relationship with them. This past week, I've been avoiding her with excuses and white lies. I've been meeting with accountants, lawyers, wedding venue people, and jewelers. I've also been spending all-nighters at my grandfather's grave, drinking with him, and not going back home until 4 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, Grandpa passed away, and he's now met accountants and all, finding out Grandpa was freaking loaded. To me, it feels like my grandfather's still the only person I can vent my deeper secrets and frustrations to. Which is why I've come to you, Reddit. I feel trapped. On one hand, I do not want to live with people I absolutely hate, and on the other hand, I do not want to lose the woman of my dreams. Dude, don't get freaking crazy here. This is one chick. And you've now inherited a huge amount of wealth. You can call the shots. And let's be honest here. You're a young guy who's a good guy, spent all that time with Grandpa, shows you're a good man. Didn't want anything in return because he didn't know about his wealth. And now she's going to be an a-hole? Hey, have a nice life because I can get other women. Just got to be careful now of the sincerity of anybody since you're so wealthy. I want a third party's opinion on the matter with no connection to me whatsoever, as felt it's the best way to make a good judgment without people close to me influencing my choices. I'm more than willing to answer questions and know how this subreddit works, because I too am eating pizza, pimple-popping Redditor myself. Now on to his update, how things get interesting with his girl here. He says here, this will be my only update post available for this subreddit. In the 40 hours since I posted this thing, it took off like a rocket. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for their opinions. While a majority of you told me to leave, others offered compromises, logical alternatives, and gave me answers that I didn't even think of. He says, I think it's been the longest 48 hours of my life. After reading all the comments, I've reached a point that I'm now talking to my fiancé and have really given me clarity on what my next choices in life are going to be. He says, number 1, I've postponed the wedding. Good job, bro. Absolutely. Her true colors are coming out, and you're going to see more in this update here of who she is, and this is not someone you can be involved with. While some of you may refer to her as calling her bluff, I call it waiting and seeing. As of right now, we're really talking about how compatible we truly are, going over our goals in life again, and talking in depth about the relationship we want with our in-laws if we get married get married. Apparently a lot has changed since the last time we've talked. Before I got the money, some of you called it. Number 2, yes, she generally thought moving her parents in would make my relationship with them better over time. If they didn't like him from the get-go, they're never going to like him. In fact, now he has all his money, they'll just put on a show so they can benefit from it. Or in her case, manipulation tactics to get a piece of the dough. I've expressed that as a result of what they've said and done to me, any positive relationship or communication with them will only be done out of necessity. For example, she's pregnant, in the hospital, or any life-altering complication or celebration. She did not take this well, but that was expected. But it's important to tell my truth. She believes I'll come around and try to build a relationship with her parents, but as of right now, I can't see myself doing it. Well, that's the thing. This dude has tried. He's tried getting along with their parents, but they were a-holes from him from day one. You're not good enough for my little girl, or some bullshit like that. It's not him who has to make the effort, it's them. But even then, he can't trust them anymore. And also, they're not moving in. Number 3, my parents won't be moving in as I haven't even asked them yet. I know some of you were confused and assumed it was already happening. It was not. I asked if it was okay if they could, not telling her it was happening. Some of you suggested that maybe moving them in as newlyweds was weird, and suggested building a small house on the property. That's what I said. That's what I still think. You're getting married, starting a family together, unless it's your culture, or they're in dire need of a place to live because they can't take care of themselves. No, that's ridiculous. You got money and wealth inherited from grandpa now, which, by the way, I'm curious why they didn't get it. Maybe there's a reason for that. And you can get them a house nearby or on the land or something, but moving in, no. I didn't think about that, and we'll talk to my accountant and parents about whatever the conversation needs to be talked about. Nice idea, Reddit strangers. Number 4, what have I been doing? A lot. A lot of meetings about my future, finances, setting up trusts and wills. I'll be re-enrolling into school to take classes on business, finances, and accounting, and economics as my accountant suggested I do. Well, that's very good. You want to educate yourself so nobody takes advantage of you. We're still working on a budget, but as of right now, my next steps are furthering my education to manage my newfound wealth and an opportunity in a healthy way as to not blow it. As of right now, to be honest, I'm emotionally drained. I think the weight of my grandfather's death is finally hitting me despite it being months later. And the only thing that kept me was the idea of the wedding day. With that being postponed, I can really focus on myself, my values, and my emotions. There is no freaking rush. And honestly, you've postponed it / called it off. Let's be honest, it's really him calling it off. This chick is not for you. End of story, it is what it is. I've been staying up all night and drinking at a grave isn't a very healthy thing, and I've not only promised myself to cut back on the booze, but also not stay up drinking. I've been thinking about maybe getting into some sort of therapy and grief counseling, but I need to make sure that this is in the budget with my accountants. As long as there's that long-term thing, maybe they know someone. Dude, you inherit a ton of money. You can go see a shrink for as long as you need. Number 5, couples counseling. Good luck with that one. To those that suggested, that's a wonderful idea. However, I'm not sure if I can move past her strange dependent relationship with her parents. Initially, I thought I could, but the rose-tinted goggles off, I'm starting to see a lot of red flags, and I'm not too confident a therapist or wedding can solve. We both have issues we need to work through, but right now, I'm not sure if I'd be willing to work through them together. Well, there you go. That says everything. I know you've been with her a long time, and you thought highly of her, but you're seeing her true colors now. You can't be with someone like that. And you certainly can't trust her sincerity now because you've inherited all that money. This guy's going to be especially careful now and not let everybody know about this, because there's going to be plenty of people that want to take advantage of him. I know a lot of you said to drop the relationship, but I think after 6 years it's worth giving a try to save it. Smack! No, it's not, dude. You're going to learn the hard way. Making a choice like that without trying to fix the problem seems silly. You can't fix somebody being an asshole, and that's who his fiancée is. But I did expect a lot of answers to come through just how red it is. Just know that. I know my worth, I know my values, and I'm not backing down. Maybe we'll work things out and the relationship will just end. Maybe things will work out and we can continue. At least for now, 48 hours later, it's too soon to tell. Number 6. Listen to this. As for the prenup, we haven't signed anything yet. A lot of you are really harping on the nice ring and fancy vacations once a year thing. And while the vacations compromise is indeed concerning, the ring issue is something we've been having conflict for a while. Apparently, and I saw somewhere, I think it was the comment section that referred to this somewhere, he mentioned, As a part of their deal to get married, he'd get her this fancy ring and guaranteed one fancy vacation a year. So she's laying out terms, gold digger terms. Bad idea. My personal opinion before and now is that rings are overpriced, silly, and serve no significant purpose in a relationship. Yeah, you're a guy, but to a woman, particularly one that wants to show off that ring to other people, that big expensive ring is everything. She says that they're an important symbol of love and commitment. The compromise to the prenup in regards to the ring was that I actually buy her a better ring than I had already had, which sounds super predatory in those words, but it makes sense in my mind. She does want a Titanic Heart of the Ocean style jewelry piece, just something a bit more noticeable. I probably should elaborate on that since my original post, but hey, we all make mistakes. Which makes her sound like a gold digger mentality, but I know the price range of the ring she wants, and it's about the same range that my dad spent on my mom's ring. It is something you'd see on the middle-class woman's finger, nothing huge, nothing small, just enough, I guess. I still think they're just silly circles of metal and compressed dirt. Yeah, you're a guy, you'd think that, but to a woman who wants to show off to the world and her friends, that's something different. Again, not all women are like this, but if your woman really loves you and wants to be married with you, she's not going to care. Honestly, she could have a candy machine ring on her finger and not give a shit. There's not much else to say. We down-talked for a while. I explained my side of things and she explained hers. She was upset I was postponing the wedding, but once she realized I wasn't going to fold, she agreed under the notion that it was best for our relationship to work on this before our marriage. You showed you're not backing down. You acted like a man, so good for you, but I still say, I know you're postponing, or let's be honest, I think this is canceled anyway, but still, can't be with someone like this. Right now, I'm taking a step back from her to clear the air and give us time to formulate what we want on our own. I've driven the 2 hours to the cabin, and thankfully the internet people hooked that up yesterday. I've talked to my parents, not about them like moving in, but about the situation as a whole. He says, leaving out, I went to the internet before I went to them. While my dad can't just abandon his job, he sends his love and support. My mom is currently making the 18-hour drive. Shit, where the hell do you live? So I wouldn't be alone myself. I've gotten attempted phone calls from the in-laws within the last 24 hours, but I've watched them ring and went back to doing my everyday tasks like lawn work, meal prep, reading, and binge-watching Netflix. It's strange, but right now I feel happier alone right now than I do with my fiancé. If you're feeling happier alone than with your fiancé, again, that tells you everything. Maybe it's some sign that it's not meant to be, you think? Or that I've finally been able to relax for the first time in years and have found comfort in my solitude. Maybe I'm happy my mom is going to cook for me my favorite dinner as a child to cheer me up. I think as of right now, I have a lot to work on to do, not only emotionally, but also literally. I'm thinking about doing some telework just to have a mainstream income part-time, as I'll probably get bored of being jobless in about a week and I need some hobbies. Dude, you don't need to work if you obviously have so much money. You could use your time, volunteer work or charity or something if you got so much dough. But whatever you want to do makes you happy. But the point of this whole thing is good for him for not caving that ultimatum. You should not be with a gal whose family hates your guts. It's never going to work out. It didn't work out early on. It's not going to work out now. And a girl tries throwing ultimatums your way, it simply is not going to work out. And there were elements in that story that were left out because I saw later on in the comment section. But yeah, Grandpa died. Grandpa left him a ton of freaking money. He's set for life, many lifetimes. And just bad situation with the girl. So good for him for having the strength to say, call her bluff, not happening. We're postponing the wedding. But I just don't see this working out. So we will see how things go. But again, the lesson is, guys, don't give in ultimatums. The family doesn't like you. Don't try to force it. It's just not going to work. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.